morning. Good morning. Whoops. Camera. Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Food Forest, Permaculture, Howie, Laura's Garden, and Erica, my fly family, and whoever else is in the bushes. Good morning, Grand Rising to you all. That's my new theme song. I don't know. I heard it and I just love it. This guy played it on his this morning morning motivation show he does on YouTube. So I think it's about 7 a.m. my time, but he's in a different time zone, I think. And I'm like, yeah, that's my song. So I hope everyone's had a blessed week. It's a good day. It's gonna be a good day regardless. And take it moment. Yeah, I love that song. I'm like, what? That is a song. So I'll be playing that probably every Saturday to start the live. Gonna just chit chat a bit. Lots going on in the world and in general. So I'm going to be just bouncing from good morning, Miss V. I'm going to be bouncing from one thing to another. Try to download that video too to put in StreamYard, but I think you have to have it says YouTube Premium. I'll find a free way to do it because I ain't paying for nothing. I'm not paying. But yeah, this week was a bit challenging. Last week, well, probably last week to this week. Good morning, Bayou. This week was my birthday week, so yay for me. But also just, lots going on, a lot of stress, a lot of responsibility, a lot of worrying about other things that had to be dealt with, and it was just very challenging. So I took a mental health day and just did some stuff. So sometimes you just need to take a mental health day. You need to take care of you. June was I think Men's Mental Health Month, and there's different months for different things. I don't know. I think every month and every day is mental health awareness. There's a lot of things going on in these streets, and sometimes you're just not okay, and it's okay not to be okay. Thank you, Miss V. It's okay not to be okay. Sometimes you just have to you know, be honest with yourself, and you don't have to get it right all the time or feel, great all the time, and take care of you. Take care. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Bayou. Take care of you. And whatever that means, that's whatever it means. If it means going to get takeout and just enjoying a walk, getting ice cream, going for a drive, visiting friends, volunteering, talking to a counselor, calling a helpline, going to church, being involved in some kind of activity, whatever it is, take care of you and do what's gonna bring you joy. So the hurricane didn't hit Jamaica directly, but it sustained a lot of damage. Oh, I'm telling you, Erica, you take care of everybody else, and then you realize you just nah, man, you're spiraling. You're spiraling. So take care of yourself. Sometimes I think for me, you feel guilty about taking care of yourself. You feel guilty about I was talking to somebody yesterday because we're kind of I wouldn't say arguing, but I was frustrated because of the hurricane, you have to send money back home. It's always a constant, request from back home for this, that, and the third. And sometimes you have your own stuff to deal with, and you're dealing with your own stuff here and your own bills and your own, and you can't ask them for help. Like sometimes they don't understand that, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work for the money. You got to pay bills. You got to balance. The interest rates are through the roof. They don't have any concept. They just, they don't get it. And sometimes, you know, the frequency of being asked just brings up residual issue residual issues. And I was venting because sometimes you don't want to have to explain that you can't, you don't have it right now. You don't even want to have a conversation. You don't want to be put in that position. And that kind of makes you feel guilty for even spending money on yourself because there's 51 million needs all over the place and people need a roof but you got to take care of you, and I made up my mind this season I have to get some things repaired. There's things that need painting, there's things that need to be done around the house, some things I can do on my own, some things I can get help with, some things I have to pay for for a tradesperson, but it needs to get done, and come hell or high water, it's getting done, and that means that some people are gonna have to do without. And if you can help, you give, but if you can't do it, just don't take it on. So I was upset. I'm like, why do you keep being asked? And then when they ask, it's not like they ask and wait for an answer and see if you can, pull together something. It becomes, when are you sending the money? When are you sending the money? But you never said you were sending any money. And then that causes more frustration because I never committed to nothing. Come on, you can just send a little this, a little that. A little this and a little that is something that's taken out of my pocket over here to take care of something else. Most people are not having all this surplus. There's not a lot of surplus to say, okay, you know, I can send you 100, $200 at any given time, at any call you make. I can just find $200 to send to you. It's not like that. Everything has gone up. Groceries alone have gone up so high. It's ridiculous. Um, you have to maintain your property if you want to even make it sellable when you're ready to sell it. You know, everything costs money. And I'm not a person that spends a lot on foolishness, but they make you feel guilty sometimes. It's not even them. Sometimes it's you, um, to spend money on yourself because, oh, there's more important things. Anyways, needs and wants, tough choice. Yes, tough choices, but you need to take care of you because there's nothing worse than letting get run down. But I was venting. I'm like, so the person goes, well, maybe it's not them, it's you. I go, yeah, it is me. You're right. It's not them. I'm feeling away. I'm feeling because I don't want to have to explain. If I don't answer and say I'm committed to sending you something, don't keep asking me in a way that is like I said yes when I didn't say yes. Um, and so now it's just like no across the board. And if I have something to give, I will give it. But um, it's not that I told you so, but it's kind of like I told you so. In Jamaica, I can just say, and all the Caribbean, most of the Caribbean, most of the people live quote unquote off grid. Even if you have a fancy, nice house, which a lot of us, have sent money, we have family homes, it's off the grid. You don't have a central water system. You may have electric being provided by a company, but a lot of what you're doing is off grid. You have your own off grid water. You collect rainwater to water your garden, your animals, to run through your own internal plumbing system. You have some bit of solar here and there. You do rely on, we have JPS, but they're always cutting in and out. So your freezers have to be connected to something else. Like it's an off grid kind of thing. You grow food, there's farmers, there's no Wally World, there's no, things like that per se. In the big city, maybe, but not everywhere else. So you kind of tell people like you need to have some preparations, and they just don't really listen. And then you're hearing them say, "Oh, all the free food in the fridge and the freezers is all spoiled." What do you want me to tell you? Like, you can't rely on the systems that are in place there. They're not reliable as it is. Never mind during a hurricane. They don't have any power. And I think Houston, Texas, same thing. No power, no water in in a while. Jamaica, they don't have, where my aunt lives, there's no electricity. They're in darkness, no street lights, no nothing. I can't tell you what to do, but I've been kind of trying to tell you from a while ago, like, have certain things in place, grow your own food and certain things. I'm not saying have a whole big farm, but your basic greens and so forth, so that you don't have to rely on buying anything. So now it's become very difficult. Not saying I told you so, but it's like even getting in touch with them. She told us off. We didn't call her. We sent her a message, but she didn't have any Wi-Fi. Good morning, Tamika. Didn't have any Wi-Fi. So she didn't get the messages. Trying to call other people, can't get through. I called my another cousin, found out they're actually in town in Toronto. Their phone got corrupted, didn't have our number, so we traded numbers again. So we're back in contact. So but she could have got my number from somewhere else. Anyways, so we'll have them over. But they said their property was okay, but it's stressful. It's a stressful time. So that adds to the stress, but just take care of you. Um, but there's still a lot of damage. I think Fifi went down to Grenada to take care of some stuff over there from the damage from the Hurricane Beryl, and a lot of people have to rebuild stuff. I'm watching on Instagram a couple of content creators who do hydroponics in Jamaica. I found that I found they're on my feed. It's very interesting what they're doing, like a PVC pipe kind of design outdoor. So they're using sunlight. They're not having to pay for the LED lights, but everything just kind of blew all over the place. And it's hard to put together a hydroponic system and put all the pieces together. But when it's all blown all over the place to kind of fix it back, it's even more tedious than doing it from scratch. So some of them have to find the pieces that blew all over the place, put it back together, replant the seedlings. But the thing about hydroponics, you can get greens in a quick turnaround time. So thank God for that. But a lot of people have to just rebuild, restart. And we feel guilty sometimes, but you can only do what you can do, and the rest you just gotta leave it. Sometimes you gotta let people, you know, dig deep and find their own solutions, not being cold, but you can't help everybody. And, when you have family calling you, oh my God. Today I made a sockeye salmon chowder. I will go to the shut-ins and give them some of the chowder. Folks like that someone cares about them, raspberries and spuds to give as well. Oh, that's excellent. Even that. There's people here who have needs. There's a lot going on. Um, we had some heavy rainfall, but we didn't have a hurricane or nothing like that. But heavy rain last night and the night before, which I'm glad because I didn't water my plants. Good morning, Virginia. There's a lot going on. So let's just talk about what's going on in the news. But take care of your mental health. Take care of you. We'll be touching on that every week for the rest of the year at least, because people are going through stuff and we don't want to talk about it, which is fine. Some of us have been burned in terms of confiding in the wrong people and then they throw it in your face. Nothing's more awful than that. But I just talk out openly because you're not going to use my story against me. If I'm telling the story, I'm telling the story. And if you want to use it against me, it doesn't make no sense because it's my story to tell, and you're not going to shame me with my own story. But you have to be careful who you talk to when you're going through stuff, who you're confiding in. And those of us who have faith in God and a higher power, that is really your foundation when you're going through a difficult time. So don't isolate yourself, stay connected to the right people, places, and things to get you through your time when you have difficult times. What I did realize, again, which I've been saying, but just to remind you, some people are still grieving, and grief is not like a 1 year, 2 year. For me, I'm not in grief, but my mother passed away in 2020. So that's what, 4 years? Yeah, 4 years. And then, sometimes it pops up on you again. It's just like you're fine. And then it pops up like, oh, you would want to talk to the person, get advice, and they're not there. So grief is not like a 1 year, two. It's sometimes all 10 years. Somebody said it was 10 years before they could get through a Mother's Day without crying. So, a lot of us are still in grief, still in PTSD, still in trauma, still triggered. It's okay. Just take it one day at a time, but build your toolbox and your toolkit to have um the answers and how to get through. If that means taking, once a week you go and just have a quiet time, whatever you need to do to get through, that's what you need to do. Some people have a sport, some people have hobbies, some people just, travel. Whatever it is that you need to do, just do it and be consistent and regular with it, because if you put those things on the back burner, you're going to find yourself falling back into a deep slump and even depression, and it's not so easy to get out. So you have to um grieve with hope and grieve with some tools, not just isolating yourself and not talking, you need to talk. If you need to talk to a professional, get a professional, but don't let anybody use your story against you. Now, in the news this week, or even the last 2 weeks, there's a few things that are just like odd in the news. Yeah, I think she is smiling down. I really believe that. Um, First of all, the story that we've been following for a while, but I haven't talked about it in a while. Now, the Alec Baldwin, I'll say his name, had a the manslaughter charge was formally charged, and he went to trial. And it was played live on the internet. I didn't watch it. I was gonna watch it, but I didn't know that they were gonna have a verdict so quickly. And they have a verdict, so the case was dismissed. Now, the fundamentals of the case was the responsibility. Morning, G Mama. The responsibility, I guess, of the safety of the firearm on set and determining the amount of responsibility of the actor, his role as an actor. And he had done an interview on, I think it's Good Morning America or something to that degree, one of those programs sometime this year, and he had said something about pulling the trigger, and that was going to be used against him. And then they said he lied, that he didn't. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about who's lying, who's telling the truth, but sometimes you believe you did something just because of oh, thank you, G Mama. You believe you did something because of the end result. So the firearm fired and deleted somebody in error. So maybe he believed he did pull the trigger. I don't know if he's lying or telling the truth. I'm not, in that kind of situation, it's kind of hard for me to believe that he intentionally lied. He may have been mistaken, but I'm not going to say he's a liar because there's a lot happening. He was stressed, he was worrying about getting the lady some help. He wasn't really, but I would personally speak for me, and this is just a conversation. I'm not slandering anybody. And if I talk about herbs, it's not medical advice. This is just a conversation. I'm not liable for nothing I say today. No liability. But if it was me, I would probably believe that I did pull the trigger just because of the chain of events. And you'd have to really sit down and slow it down in your mind to see, okay, did I pull the trigger? Didn't I? Like you're unsure. So I'm not really blaming him for that per se. What I do hold him responsible for, the case was dismissed, no charges. I'm not upset about the verdict per se, but I still think it's very important. And I think it was part of the training where you point your firearm. And that's basic safety 101. And that reminds all of us even now, whether or not you're, fiddling with it, playing around with it, pulling a trigger, not pulling a trigger, maybe your finger's not in the right position because you're just careless. You're not really, you're on set. It's a prop. You think it's a prop. You think it's fake. It may be fake, but you don't point your firearm at people under any circumstance. And if we can just get that get that in our uh what we do, how we operate, how we handle firearms, I think everyone will be fine. Do not point it at anybody, anything that you don't intend to use it on. I don't know how a live round got on set. That trial for the set logistics ballistics person, I believe she got charged. I don't know if she was found guilty. I didn't follow her case, but most likely most of the blame in all other avenues was put on this individual. And they were supposed to verify the safety, and they did, and he thought the firearm was safe. He did, the case was dismissed. I believe the judge said with prejudice. So I'm not sure if that means that they can't charge him again, but I know he was charged civilly from the family, and he had to pay something, which I think that was more than fair. Somebody lost their life because of some foolishness, and the final blame can be sorted out in the courts or sorted out in the public opinion, but she still lost her life, so somebody needs to make restitution. There's children, young children that need to, be raised. Her income has been taken away. I don't know if she had insurance. I don't know all the other details, but she certainly didn't go to work expecting that to happen. And it just shows you how important it is. I don't know how you guys feel about the case, if you think it was fair, unfair. I'm not sure. I think he did have he was held responsible in civil court, but I'm not sure if he should have really been held responsible for the manslaughter, considering maybe it should be classified as an accidental death. I think it was classified as an accidental death. He thought that it was a prop, it was fake, and I don't know if somebody did this on purpose to cause trouble. I'm not sure because there shouldn't have been any live rounds on set. There was no need for any live rounds at all. So something is a little strange on that part. So hopefully that will come out in the wash at the end of the day. But safety is important. Just, be conscious and mindful of what you're doing. Now, in the news as well, something weird. I saw this on Instagram. This is weird. This is a little more weird, so I'll use my words carefully. So there's a thing going around where strange men are in like dollar stores and they're um self-satisfying themselves and spewing on younger girls, not children, but young girls, like letting loose. Hopefully you know what I'm saying without saying it. So there's a clip on my Instagram and the girl was crying and she's mad because a guy he jacked on her leg and she chased him down and then she was, he turned himself in. I heard he turned himself in, but it's not the first time it happened and she was so upset and crying and like it's a violation. It's disgusting. I don't know, like I know for me, like something touches your skin, you just feel disgusting and dirty. Number one. Secondly, I don't want to sound like an airhead, but I'm just trying to work out the logistics of it. For you, well, for a man to be having, hey, David, for a man to have a time to get to that level, nobody saw that there's some strange behavior. Like, are you walking around the aisle and have your hand in your pants? Are you in a corner? Like, what are you doing to be able to get to the point of full arousal? And then you what yank like how do you, like something's not making sense to me. Like, are people not paying attention? Are people in their phones? I'm not sure what's going on, but something's not really making sense to me. And that's gross. So really be mindful of what's happening in the stores when you're going to these stores, when you're seeing people is walking up and down, they're not really buying anything, they're not picking up anything. Be very careful. And with all the diseases going around, that's dangerous. It's not even funny. It sounds like it's not funny. With all the diseases going around, that people can contract stuff like this is disgusting. And it's very it's violating experience, and I don't think the police are taking it very seriously or the people are taking it very seriously. So that was on the news. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now back to so I see that Houston, Texas, and I'm sure other places, but Houston came on my feed. They're still don't have water and they still don't have electricity. So I don't know if you know anything about what's going on in Texas, David Corey. I don't know if your area was affected by the hurricane Beryl, but what's going on in your areas, guys? Are you guys having any issues because of the hurricane? Is there any problems with your area? Did you have any gap in your service? And did you have to use any of your preps? Let me drop the link too. Did anyone have to use any of their preps? Because I'm watching and seeing, okay, what can I do for myself? Dallas wasn't. We hot as hell. No rain. Oh, no rain. We got some rain yesterday and the day before, thank God, because my garden was dry, and I did not have the energy to water it. And I'm like, Lord, please send some rain. And he did. I couldn't do it. Houston is a mess. I have relatives there, still no power. So I was talking this morning, even last night. I'm like to people, how long could you do without power? And I said, if you had to choose, what would you choose? Like no power or no water? I chose no power. And some people said neither. And some people said they choose no water. I don't think I could do without water very long. I have animals to give water to. It's not just me. Um, I have garden to water, and I could still. Mona said her power's still out. Oh Lord, I didn't even. I know she went live last night or the other night, so I didn't even. I didn't tap in. I was tired. I tapped into Bayou's live, the party, the Sugar Shack, but I didn't tap into Mona, so I didn't even know. Hey, Lashes. Good morning. This ain't no joke. So you can imagine, and then we getting calls from the Caribbean to send this, that, and the third over there because they need help. Must have water under. That's what I said. No power. Either way, it's awful. I choose no power. I choose no power. Now, I know some people were talking. I know African was talking yesterday about prepping and people not being ready. I'm not even going there. I'm just talking about each of us who are interested in discussing it. What do you need to fulfill in your preps? What gaps are there right now? Because I don't know how long they've been without power. Has it been a week, guys? You tell me, because I can't keep track of days and times. I don't think I have enough to go more than 3 days. And 3 days is pushing it for me. And 3 days would be conserving as much as possible with the expectation on the fourth day there'll be water. But if I had to stretch it out even longer, I don't know. No power means no AC. I have plenty of water. Yeah, it means no AC, and I'm okay with that. That's exactly what we need to discuss. Like, what can you now? I'm not in Texas, so Texas Lala probably could not do without AC because it's unbearable. I can bear it over here. It's not as hot, and my house, if it's not humid outside, I can get a good breeze going from the front to the back. It's still hot, but it's not going to be so humid. And if worse comes to worse, I can go down in the basement and sit in a little cool area in the basement and, but some of y'all are in hot climates. So AC is not optional. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity, especially when you have elders and older people, maybe even, sickly people. So that means no AC. Is there anybody who has like a backup, a mini AC, a fan, a mist? I don't know what they have. I think they have those little portable ACs. Like, is there anything you have as a backup? Because I know for us, a whole house AC unit is going to use too much current, and that's not an option. My and if we didn't have power, I would have to go to a family member. We have to all pool our resources. There's no way we could each be running our reserve. It wouldn't make sense. We would all pull together and make sure that we're all in the same building. My sister's house now, she has to have AC. Her house runs hotter. The way how it's located, the land around it, it's different. So I can do without AC over here. But, you know, everyone has a different situation. Have you assessed your situation? Um, Cell phone service. That is a problem in Jamaica. We couldn't get in touch with people. Do you have a way to contact people? Or are you able to go to them and say, is everything okay? Do you have somebody that can go and check on them? It's a problem. Okay, take care, Howie, as you go give out food to the shut-ins. Good morning, Odom. Good morning, Mama J. Because we have to take these situations and really think about it. I know we're focusing on, the Caribbean and all the damage, and those of us who have family got to send money. That's how it is. But those of you in like the US, you're not getting, it's either you have insurance or you don't have insurance. Who's coming to help you? Nobody. The electrical companies with all the outages don't have enough staff to get everything up and running in a timely manner. It's humanly impossible. Now, when it comes to water, I shared this last year and I still have it. I'm still doing it. I keep my empty 1-gallon jugs and I have 2 in each bathroom. I have 2 bathrooms. I have 2 1-gallon jugs in each bathroom. That water is just in case of a small outage, not for days and weeks on end, that's for sure, but, a couple of hours, couple of days to have water for hygiene in the bathroom. So that water is not really drinking water. Nothing's wrong with the water. It's tap water, but, wash your face, brush your teeth. If you have to manually put it down and flush the toilet with the, water, bird bath, that kind of thing. So I have 2 gallons in each bathroom. I have water filter kind of thingy, not a Berkey, but some lower brand. I'm gonna be getting a Santivia, so that will hold maybe 3 gallons of water for drinking, and that can filter water, and it could probably filter rainwater if worse came to worse. I do capture some rainwater, so that can be used for the chickens in the garden. But what do you have in place? Because hey, broke farmer, if you have a hurricane and you don't have your usual what water, your hose, how are you going to maintain your garden? Thank God it rained because I certainly, and this is why you would hear Planter Garden always talking about he does not use a lot of water. And I thought he was talking lies. And I told him that. And he was laughing. But he does practice what he preaches because if there's a drought or he doesn't have irrigation there, his plants need to thrive and he had to find a way to make them thrive. He plants things deep. That's what he does. He plants things in a way that there's kind of like a reservoir. So when he does water, it holds and it filters down to the roots. He amends his soil. He does a lot of different things because if you can't water your garden for a week or two because you have to use your water for more important things, what are you going to do? Good morning, Blue Lotus. What about those who have did I drop the link? I don't remember. Let me drop it again. You know, who don't have rain catchment. If you don't have any rain catchment, this is probably a good time to think about how to catch rainwater. If you are in a zone that could get damaged by a hurricane, strong winds, tornadoes, and you're relying on your hose. Good morning, Jova Q. You need to have a backup plan because even if there's an infrastructure and you're in a first world nation, you don't know how long it's going to take for them to get to you. I purchased those like military looking jugs that are for water. I bought one. I have to wash it out. I'm going to fill that with water and keep it in the back of my garage. If there's an emergency, that will be another, I think it's like a 3 gallon jug. That will be another source of water in the garage. And that will be drinking water, I guess. But I don't have enough. I have cases of water. I have other things, but that's just me. What are other people doing who have more people in their house? And again, don't discuss what you're doing because they're going to come into your house. Oh, thank God for, I think she said, thank God for solar. Yeah, you do need, I was talking this morning, I'm like, I need more solar. And I know I needed solar. It's not like I didn't know, but the price point, um, the price point. But I know they had something at Costco recently. I saw something, I don't know if it was a whole house or some kind of package that they were doing. I'm going to look into that a little more because if something happens, I'm going to need to have some kind of power to do basic things. Now, I have a lot of charcoal. So that's kind of you can use for outdoor cooking. I do have a propane tank. I don't know when last I filled it, if it's even full. They make water purifier jugs. Even that bad thing about solar is the storage. That's the thing. But if I have enough to at least run some basic appliances, certain things to help with cooking and maybe even cleaning and like, a vacuum or something. You don't know what's gonna happen. When you can't do your usual stuff and it just builds up, um, it's a challenge. And the price point, yeah, exactly. So I need some solar equipment. So I'm not gonna get the big thing, but if I can get something that can at least run, kettle, coffee maker, blender, um, I need to get a gauge for the propane tank. I've never had a gauge. I don't even know how people know like, really? In the middle of cooking, I guess you're cooking chicken and all of a sudden it stops going. But I have a tank and I have a lot of charcoal 'cause I figured if worse comes to worse, I can use charcoal. When I purchased my barbecue a few years back, I had to upgrade my barbecue. I bought the dual purpose one, the one that can use the gas and can use just straight charcoal, just in case. So that one has two options. I purchased also that chimney thing because we used to have a hard time lighting the charcoal. So if you guys know about that chimney thing, you can get at Home Depot, HD or those stores. You put all your charcoal in there, you put some newspaper at the bottom, and it helps to funnel the heat and it lights your charcoal. And then you just pour it onto your grill in the grill, put your grill racks on top, and then you're cooking. So if you have a difficult time lighting your charcoal and you don't want to use those briquettes and all those other stuff that have chemicals, that device I found for me is very useful. It helps me light the charcoal no problem, and I don't have any issues, and I don't have to use those briquettes or fuel, any kind of like whatever you call them, those liquid stuff. I don't want that on my food or on when I'm cooking my food. My solar works good on cloudy days. That's good. Practice your preps, guys. Also, solar is somewhat limited in cloudy conditions. Exactly. So that's why I stick to sometimes the old school stuff. Now, everyone lives in different zones, different issues, but practice your preps and see what's happening in Houston. It's a hot, hot mess, literally. Do you have enough water to last a week? I know I don't. I'm not stressing about it. I'm just having a conversation. What are you doing to improve what you have in place? And for the most part, from what I'm seeing, it's better to have more natural things in place. Catch rainwater. Catch the rainwater. Have that in place. If you are a gardener, don't rely on your hose. Make sure you have rainwater and use it and plant in a way that you can go a little longer without watering, like Plant Your Garden does. Because if I was still doing the old school stuff, my garden would be dead right now. It would be dead, dead, dead. But they are able to get through without so much watering. I don't water my lawn. I don't believe in watering grass. I'm just done with grass. So that's just me, but you have to work that into your internal infrastructure of your own property. But you don't rely on the system water, city water. I would recommend fire starters to help ignite charcoal with such in a windy, wet, or adverse conditions. Yeah, but not. I would do it, yes, but not if I'm cooking. I don't know if it's for cooking food. I'm not doing it. I don't want none of that stuff on remotely in my food, around my food, or cooking my food. But yeah, you have to do what you got to do, especially if it's for warmth or for shelter. Um, if you're using a catchment system, make sure you have a way to purify the stored water. You don't want to breed mosquitoes. You don't want to breed any kind of bacteria. So you have to practice these things now. If you're already doing it now, then you're going to be learning how to keep the bugs out the water, the mosquitoes from the laying eggs, uh, purifying the water. Don't do it when it becomes an issue. I'm keeping 1 second here. I'm keeping more water on deck because of the outside of my apartment doesn't have a water hose hookup. Yeah, for me, I have to do that in the winter. In the winter, I have to water my chickens. My hose has to turn off by a certain time. Usually turn it off by the end of October. I kept mine on a little longer just to make my life easier. But as soon as I noticed that the waterer was freezing overnight, that has a little frost on top, and I had to break the ice, That was my sign. I had to turn off the outside water and I had to use the heated water. And I only put that on when I have to because you got to run current, right? So you got to plug it in, have an extension cord for outside, and I have the heated waterer. And you have to fill the heated water up. And handling water outside in the cold and the snow is not ideal. So that's why I have the 3 1-liter jugs. I know about 3 would fill the waterer. I have a funnel and I used to open the lid. If you guys know about the chicken waters, I used to open the whole lid and snap it back on. And a few times I snapped it back on and it wasn't snapped on properly, turned it right side up and the whole bottom fell out and all the water spilled out. And then it turned into an ice patch, which is dangerous because now I have to walk. Anyways, hot mess. So I have a funnel and it may seem like, okay, you're just being extra. No, you don't want to handle water outside in the winter and you have gloves on so you don't have the same dexterity and you don't want to get frostbite. So it's not a joke. And you don't want your chickens pecking at hard blocks of ice to get water because they could break their beak. So there's a whole other level. So you have to know what you're doing. My neighbor's going out. I'm nosy. There's a whole bunch of things you got to do and you got to practice these things now and think about it now. But being in a city environment with no water and no electricity, I can only imagine. Can only imagine. So you have to start thinking about these things now and don't get complicated. Let's not stress ourselves out. Just keep it simple and keep it as stress-free as possible. So the water situation, I do have water, but I am going to be getting more of those jugs, those military jugs, because I don't want to have things in those 1-gallon jugs. The plastic is not made for long-term storage. It's not tinted really to keep the light out, and that's going to cause algae and maybe more microplastics in the water for all I know. But you have to start practicing these things now. So don't wait till it's a disaster. Have your things and have enough for yourself, maybe even beyond, but don't stress out about it. It is good to filter the water before purifying it. It's good to filter your water before purifying. By doing so, it increases the life cycle of your purifying equipment. Exactly, because you don't want to make your equipment work too hard. So this is exactly what you need to do. And then Broke saying he bought a lot of canned water. I think they even have those bags of water for. I know during Katrina, people were talking about getting like they were given from the government bags of water, like those almost like those juice packs kind of things, and they have a certain shelf life. That's great. If you get those, activated charcoal, I have the tablets because funny enough, I've had an upset stomach for on and off for the last 2 weeks. So charcoal's also good for brushing your teeth. So if you're, in a pinch, like this baking soda and charcoal, keep the germs from out your mouth, keep your teeth healthy, because you don't want to be getting sick and getting any kind of health issues when you're dealing with a natural disaster. But you need to have water and more than you even realize. And if you're in a hot climate and you want to have a shower, those of you who watch, you watch other channels, people are doing a lot of things and showing you got to practice and not even just practice, pick up things on sale. Citric acid is awesome to have also. I do have some for canning and that can be used for multiple purposes, vitamin C. And I was thinking even most of you guys are harvesting food. I don't think anybody in the gardening community is short on fresh fruits and vegetables. And it just shows you the importance of fruit trees. I got my fruit tree game on somewhat lock. I got some more berries. I'm going to do a quick snippet of the berries. I went to Canadian Tire. It's kind of like a Harbor Freight, kind of, sort of, but not exactly. And I went there to get something for somebody else. I wasn't even going to the garden center. And we ended up in the garden center. And the way how they have it right now, you can't go from the store to the garden center. We did our shopping in the store, cashed out, went to the car, and then we had to go to the garden center separately. I don't know why they did that this year. It's separate. Went in there and I got a hanging basket of strawberries for $2. So I got one for myself and somebody else. I have strawberries. I have a whole bed of strawberries. I have a whole grow bag of strawberries. But for $2, even if the strawberries die, I got a large hanging basket filled with soil. I can put lettuce in there. The pot alone was worth the $2. So that's why I bought it. They had blueberries, raspberries, and I got a loganberry. So I got two golden raspberries for both $2 or $3 a piece. I got another blueberry. I got um about 4 or 5 bushes. I can't remember exactly, but blueberries. I got raspberries. I got a loganberry. There's another berry I wanted, like kind of like a mulberry, but not really. But the plant was so damaged, I didn't think it was gonna even make it, so I left it. So I'm gonna go to another Canadian Tire today and see if they have their stuff on clearance. Because if they do, I'm gonna be going with that other berry and build up my berry patches, and that's free food. Free food. And I can dehydrate them. You can freeze them for smoothies. That's what I'm gonna be doing. So growing your own food has its other benefits besides health and wellness. It's having access when things go left. Good morning, Nikki, and good morning, Wellness with Frugal Mama. It's important. Um, if I don't have food to eat, let's say the grocery stores, they don't have no power, the meat's all gone. I don't have any. I can live off of a salad. I can have lettuce, cucumbers, radishes, spinach, and some, olive oil and salt and pepper. I'm good. It may not be a heavy meal like you're used to, but I would be good. I could eat something. I can go on the barbecue and I can grill. Well, I don't have any eggplant, but I can grill something. I could cook everything in the freezer and get rid of all that food and eat it. And I could just eat lettuce and salads, and I can eat eggs because I got chicken. So I can fry an egg and have a salad. If worse came to worse. What is your backup plan? I want to try golden raspberries. I've heard. I did no research, do you remember? I don't know what was what. I said $3, got my basket, and just started putting stuff in. And then people are like, why are you buying that? My friend, what are you buying that? And I'm like, so I had to explain because, some people don't understand. They don't understand the gardening mind, the farming mind, the homesteading mind. Because they have no concept. They rely on the grocery store. I don't have to, and broke farmers one of the best people to see because you don't have to work so hard with trees. And with him, if it dies, it doesn't make it, it's not producing fruit, you're out the door. Trees don't need as much work as anything else. Once they're established, they're good. They're going to give you food. So, quote unquote, free food. All you have to do is protect it from disease as much as possible, damage from, animals, any kind of infestations, and keep the birds off of your stuff. But you don't have to work for the apples, the pears, the peaches, all the berries. As long as you keep them protected, that's free food that you can eat, and it's highly nutritious. So you need to put, emphasis on your orchard. That's pretty easy. And in that, if you're in an urban setting, figure out where the fruit trees are. The ones on public property. Don't be going in people's backyard unless you have a relationship, but on public property. Is there a crab apple tree? Do you have any kind of wild bushes? Take a notice of where these things are because that's free food. Caloric intake. Need that protein. Yep, but you can get protein without eating meat. As long as people understand that. Protein is amino acids. So if you understand where you can get your amino acids from, you don't have to get it from meat. So don't be going off and butchering all the meat and then you don't have no way to up the population. If I'm going to butcher my chickens, I don't have a rooster. So if I take one and eat it, I don't have any replacement. So you need to think about that. If you have roosters and you have eggs that can hatch and you can get a new batch of chickens, by all means, that makes perfect sense. But if you don't have that, It's not gonna work. Now, if worse comes to worse, I could get one and put the collar on. I know Fifi had the rooster collar and David Corey did that, and it works, but it's not a great existence, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Acorns, yes. My former lady that used to live in this area, who passed away, there's an acorn tree in her front lot, and the tree is still there. And they don't even want the acorns, but the tree's still there because it's beautiful shade. Acorns. I have a black walnut tree in the back of my property. I don't like what it takes to prepare them, but worst comes to worst, there's a walnut tree at the back. And I know I'm noticing I'm not a forager, but I am becoming more familiar of what plants look like what. So when I'm walking, I can see, oh, that's wild lettuce. That's this, that's that. Rabbits, squirrels, yeah, those squirrels got to go, but there's wild rabbits. Rabbits breed quite quickly, and that's why I want to get into quail. But do you have the basic infrastructure? Water is important, and a lot of us don't have enough water. We don't have access to get water. That does not involve going to a big box store and buying a case of water. We don't have any knowledge of where the rivers and lakes are or creeks. We don't know where the natural springs, or I don't. I'm saying we, but it could be just me. I don't know where the natural springs are in my locale. I don't think there's a spring here where I can get water. We don't have even the right jugs to go and take to collect the water. We certainly don't have proper filtration. This is serious. Like Houston, literally Houston, we have a problem. So you need to figure out how to not rely on the system because no one's coming to save us. It's not scare tactic. This is just real life. No one's coming to save us. And the better equipped you are to last, and I'm not even talking about SHT. I'm just talking about maybe 14 days, maybe longer. If there's a natural disaster to get you and your family through until you can regroup and figure out, okay, are they getting this back up and running? Is the hydro going to be put back? And then figure out from there. But if you don't have enough to last at least, 3 to 5 days to a week to 2 weeks, I don't know what to tell you. And a lot of people think, oh, I said the truth from day one. When I did a live maybe last year, 2 years ago, I said straight up, some of y'all think you can go without water. I don't like going without having a shower, so that's going to be a problem. So I can cut back, but having a shower is not really an option. Some of you all need to account for the hygiene, and you're not. Oh, I'll just use it's not going to work. Some people are bigger than others, and we need to have a proper shower or wash off. It's just going to cause more problems and health problems. So this ain't no joke. You need to account for what you need. And I'm looking online to see what's available to make my life easier. I live in a cold climate. If it's in the winter, I can take the snow, melt it to water, but I need a heating source and I need to be able to keep warm in a house and prevent my pipes from freezing. If I can't do that, I know where the main shutoff is for the water. And if worse comes to worse, I'll shut it all down. If worse comes to worse, I will shut it all down than to allow the pipes to burst in the house and then my house is flooded. So I know where the main water is and I'll just shut it off and we'll have the buckets and we'll do stuff out, whatever, and dump stuff. But we're not really factoring what we need. And unfortunately, people in Houston they're in a hot mess. And from what David said, sitting with some soil has no power, all in now. Do you have a way to do you even talk to your neighbors? That's a whole nother conversation. I have my neighbor's phone number. I have the wife's phone number. I don't have the husband's phone number. I don't think. And I have their number in Florida when they go to Florida. The other neighbor, I don't. The neighbor over I talk to, she's an elder. I say hi and bye, but I don't even know her name. So I don't have a way for anyone to say, can you go check on them for me? There's no way for them. There's no contact. I'm going to have to work on that just to at least say, hey, good morning, Bouger. just in case something goes left. Odom, stay ready. Pew pew. Oh, Odom's. I know Odom's ready. Odom's Odom's ready. So just figure out what you need. Take note of what's happening in the news. Take note of how long they're taking to fix the problems and get things back up and running. Just take some note. And you don't have to break the bank, but figure out how to conserve what you have in case you have to go a week with or without your usual supply. Right now, I'm using all my bottled water, not just at once, but it's been sitting there long enough. So I'm on my second carton of bottled water, so I'm drinking that, and I'm going to replace it with 2 more cases of water. And that's what I'm doing because I don't want things sitting there indefinitely. The plastic is going to degrade. It's going to leach out the water all over the floor and it's going to cause other problems. So right now I'm in the process of just using all that old water in the kettle and wherever and just drinking it off, and I'm going to buy some new ones. So you guys got to do that as well. You can't just keep things in the corner for 5, 10 years. Oh, we have a hurricane, let me go to the water, and then the water's all it's no good. The plastic's leaking, the water's all, was evaporated, and you just didn't notice. It don't make no sense. Um, some of your medical supplies, I'm going to top up on that. For those of us who do hydroponics, we grow indoors. I had in the last week, good morning, Miss Shirley. In the last week, the power chipped in and out, not long, like not even a minute, in and out. And I work from home. So I had to, the router had to be rebooted. I had to log off of the work system and, document all that because it's a power outage. But the hydroponics cut out. If you are away and your power cuts out or you're here, your hydroponics could literally, you could lose all those plants. Now, I could just pop them out and pop them in a pot if worse comes to worse outside, if worse comes to worse, or if I have some kind of solar generator thingy, I can pop it in there, let it run until the power goes back on. But a lot of the people who are growing inside, do you have a backup plan? Because all that work to grow all that food can be quickly lost if your pumps aren't putting in oxygen in the water and you haven't set it up for the cracky system. If it's already set up with the cracky system, if you guys do hydroponics, you don't need a pump or air stone. You're doing it with just water. But if you have it set up on a pump or an air stone or whatever else, and you have lights circulating, LED lights, you don't have any windows, your plants will deteriorate very quickly. So everything that you're doing, you need to have a backup plan because even right now, the power is chipping in and out more often than not. Then I have to reset up the unit, the timelines, the lighting schedule, all that has to be reset every single time the power chips out. And I don't know why it's chipping out, but there's a reason. The power went off at the parents' house maybe a week and a half ago now. Air conditioning turned off. Same thing. Twice a day, I empty the water from our dehumidifier in the basement. I suppose that water could be. It could be, Nikki, but I remember I was in a live and it was TLC that mentioned because I was going to use the dehumidifier water, sorry. And she said something about there's like mold in it or invisible mold, something to that effect. I don't remember what she said, but she said something, and I'm like, what? And I had looked it up, and I think maybe it was G Mama in there too, and she's like, yeah, it's true. Like something about the dehumidifier water, you need to be careful. So I'm not sure if that can be used for drinking or bathing. I'm not sure about that part, but you can use it, but just be mindful. But I know it was TLC and I think G Mama as well. We're talking there's a talk about using that water and how you could find it. I'm not sure because if it's mold, I know when you boil water, it kills like bacteria, like and like listeria, E. coli, it kills those things. If there's mold and mold particles, I don't know because when I look at my dehumidifier and I pull out the canister where the water is, there's black stuff, like the equipment inside has some kind of black stuff. And I clean it out and it keeps coming back. So I don't know, like I didn't go into in-depth research, but I'm just like, mm, now could that water be boiled and used to like, wash dishes or something? I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know. But I don't know about drinking it. That's what I'm saying. So um Miss Shirley's saying dehumidifier water should be run through a purifier. Yeah, but does that get rid of the mold? If there's mold spores, this is part of the conversation because some of you all are experts. Not everything can be killed by boiling, and we need to be aware of what can be killed by boiling and what needs to be, like as Virginia said, filtering water is one thing and purifying water is a different thing. What can kill mold? And then I know there's a point where people put bleach tablets and they dilute it to a certain point to make it safe drinking potable water. But what level of purification needs to take place to make the dehumidifier water safe for drinking? I haven't done any research. I haven't used it for drinking, so I haven't gone down that road. But I know I see black stuff. I water my outdoor plants with that water. Yep. Would I feed it to my chickens? No, hell no. Animals are very delicate, and I don't want to have to give them any health problems. I wouldn't water my chickens with that water, so I certainly wouldn't drink it. But I would water my plants with it. Add a couple of bleach drops. Yes, boiling water can kill mold. Mold spores are heat sensitive and can be destroyed at high temperatures. Boiling water typically reaches a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so in that case, I would filter it to get any gunk out of it, the black pieces, and then boil it. And then Miss Shirley's saying add a couple of bleach drops. Exactly. Just in case, because I don't want no diarrhea. Because that's not no joke. Diarrhea is not no joke. And when people have diarrhea, they're not absorbing nutrients, and that will cause other health issues. So don't joke around with your digestive system. And I don't know if I have, well, I had some here, but I have bleach. How many of you have bleach in your house? I have bleach and I have bleach tablets and I have bleach powder and I have those when Bouger and Stardust were doing that weekly live about preparedness, they recommended those packets to purify water. I can't remember the name, but do I have it sitting here still? Whatever those packets were, I bought them and I have them. Packets, you put it in a gallon of water and it cleans the water. So I have that in place. How many people that we know have those things in place? And I've been talking to people about basic stuff and they're not taking it seriously. Even having those battery packs for your cell phone. I ain't talking about those big solar, just the power bank for a cell phone to give you 2 extra charges in case something goes off with the power. I have 2 of those. So I have 4 charges for my phone. And I had to actually use it at church because I went to church and somebody needed a charge, didn't have a charger. No, did have a charger, but then there was a USB. We plugged it into the computer at the back, and that's like a drip charge. Like you get 1 movement per 45 minutes. That's not going to charge your phone. You need to have the AC adapter sometimes. Up and down, back and forth, and I ended up going in my purse, pulling up the battery pack, gave it to her son. I said, "Listen, just put her phone." I plugged it up, give her this, and then when it's finished, give me back the power bank. And I charged her phone with my power bank, and then I just took it home and filled it back up, the power bank, so that I have it. It's in my purse. I went to Niagara Falls yesterday. I had that on me because my phone was pretty much dead. I didn't end up using it because the car I was in has a charger, but it was it's again drip feed. But in case of an emergency, I have that in my purse. And people are so used to being, oh, I'm going to be in a building. Oh, someone will have that charger. Somebody will have the same, iPhone, whatever. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'll just plug it in here and plug it in there. What if you can't plug it in nowhere? Like, they don't even have that, a power bank for their cell phone. I keep 3 containers of bleach during the pandemic. I was doing nursing jobs. I would come home and wash with bleach and soap to keep my family safe. Yep. I made sure I had bleach. I made sure, I had rubbing alcohol, liquor, good old rum, but I don't wanna use the rum for that, but if I have to, and, hydrogen peroxide and all of these things, you may have to use them to sanitize even equipment and stuff. When it comes to the liquor, morning, Jason, I somebody at Airbnb, she cleans them. I haven't been cleaning this season as much. I'm doing other things. And there's a half bottle of, I think it's Appleton rum, the brown amber looking rum, not the clear one. So we're not gonna drink it. I'm not gonna drink it, but I can put a little of the rum in a spray bottle with water, and worst come to worst, I can sanitize something. So I'm gonna just look up what I can make. I think I can put like lemon peels, some of the rum and water, and make a cleaner, orange peels, and use that for sanitization. So sometimes you gotta be, inventive. So that rum's not gonna waste. Now, I could probably drink it. Like, I don't think anybody spit in it if worst comes to worst. But once something is open, I'm not really, nah, I don't want it to ingest. But because she knows, you know what? We like to prep. She goes, you can use it to sanitize something. So I'm gonna label that, and that's gonna go into my preps and not my liquor cabinet. So it's clearly, distinguished. And that's gonna be used to make product. Broke stocked up on rubbing alcohol. Stock up, guys. Don't wait until something happens. Now I have to go and get my an update. So I've been getting my health in check and doing all that kind of stuff. So, sidebar. I did the sleep test. So I do have he said slight sleep apnea. It's not serious, but yeah, I went to the appointment and he played the video and I'm like, who is that? I was like, who the hell snoring like that? And I mean, because they have you on video and audio. I said, Lord have mercy, I was shocked. Now I had the worst sleep ever, and the man in the room next door was snoring. But I guess I had my turn to come with the snoring. So the reason why I'm going through all of this is because we talking booze. No, no, no. The reason why we talking because my blood pressure has been an issue, and with all that I'm doing, it should have really improved significantly, and it has. But the lower number, which the diastolic number, is not really budging enough. And I just been frustrated for over a year. Like, what's going on? What's going on? I'm trying to figure it out. Doctors are really of no, like, I go to the doctor just to do tests and like whatever. But really and truly, I don't really, you know, go to them for answers because they don't really give me any answers. Watch a video online. I'm watching all these doctors, and one of them mentioned sleep apnea could be the root cause for the diastolic number not going down. Went to my doctor, said get me a test, let me get in for testing, got the test done. Long and short of it is they said I could do with a CPAP machine. Fine. So I had to get a letter, send it to the benefits to see if I'm covered, blah, 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 because these things ain't cheap. And then, yeah, I'm covered for a certain amount, and then it's certain other rebates that are offered by the government, blah, blah, blah. So I can get a machine and stuff. Now, some people think that the machines are more damaged than it's good, but if I can come off of medication for a blood pressure, which is not even the real issue, it's a symptom of a deeper issue, and use a machine and maybe find other ways to get that resolved and get off the machine, then that I think is better than taking pills for me. So if I get a CPAP machine, how am I going to power it? Because that's always been in all the lies I'm seeing people talking about. If you have medical conditions and you need machinery to be operated, and you have to clean these machines, you got to clean the hoses, you got to stock up on these supplies. Peroxide. So I'll be looking into that as well. Peroxide, alcohol, aloe gel, I keep on hand. Exactly. I have that on hand. I am getting my house in order. I've been doing that for months and it's still not in order. There's so much things to go through. The place that I keep my supplies, it's in 3 and 4 different places. So all my alcohol, I have some in this cupboard, some over there. I'm trying to get things streamlined and have an inventory list and see what I need and see what I need to top up on. And when it comes to aloe vera, we have an aloe vera plant now because I've been seeing lashes always having the plant. So just in case I can get aloe from the plant, if I can't get, the jar. Also, when I get medications, certain medications, and they come in these glass amber jars, these keep these jars. So you can soak off the labels. This one's still not fully off. You can even spray it with oven cleaner to get all the grime off and keep these jars because some things need to be kept in a dark place. And these amber jars come in quite handy and they're not cheap. So if you're buying certain vitamins and supplements and they're in these amber jars, keep them. Maybe even people who want them for free, put them on Facebook Marketplace, take them to church. I don't know. But some people like to store their certain herbs in those things to keep the freshness. Good morning. Can't stop walking. And anyone else come in here? Okay. Hey, good morning, Perfection Baking. And if I miss anybody else, I didn't see you. But yeah, your sleep on your. I sleep all over. I don't sleep. On, I end up on my back at some point. Yes, I sleep on my side. And people always say, "Well, what do you sleep?" I go, "Once you fall asleep, I cannot tell you what I'm doing." And the doctor's like, "Well," and nobody sits in one position the whole night. Me sleep on the side, me go on my back, I go on the other side. Sometimes the sheet is over there, and sometimes it's over there. Sometimes the bonnet is up, down there. You don't even know how you end up where you end up half the time. Sometimes you're diagonal. Sometimes you end up, all over the place. So I start on my side. I don't maybe end up on my side. Um, just woke up. I've been working too damn hard. Okay. Try to move my head. Say, I tried that and I need a new pillow, Blue Lotus. I need a new pillow. The one that I have that has like a curve to kind of keep your head tilted. I think that pillow is worn out. So I do need a pillow and elevated. Yes. I used to like a flat pillow. But I think as you age, and the man said to lose some weight. The doctor said to lose some weight. I said, lose some weight where? In my neck? Like, how could I isolate and just lose weight in my neck? Because obviously, something going on in the neck. He goes, well, I'm thick, but I'm not like morbidly obese. So it can't always be about weight. They always use weight as a default. Now, could I lose some weight? Yeah, but I don't think it's going to change very much in my neck. It might. Our preps are really low at the moment since we are moving soon. Okay, but I know that you know what to do in terms of how to prep and what you need. So, once you get settled back in, you're good. You're gonna you and Shannon will get that all sorted out. But yeah, you need to get your health in check. So do that stuff now. Bread and sugar cause metabolic imbalance. Um, I do like bread. I do like bread. I don't use white. Well, I had a bagel this week, yeah, but I use whole wheat, whole grain, sourdough, rye, that kind of stuff. Um, I don't use. Yes, exactly, unenriched. I was hearing a lot about enriched flours, and I'm hearing it, but I didn't really stop and take pause of what I'm buying and really take use of the information. And when I looked at enriched flours and what it means, because it doesn't always say enriched, it says, riboflavin and all these words. Once you see them words, that's enriched. So I've made a point to stop purchasing enriched flours because that's how you put on weight. And it's hard to lose weight when you're having enriched products because enriched products they added synthetic vitamins, and sometimes your body doesn't know what to do with these synthetic vitamins. So the pasta I'm buying, the flour I'm buying, any breads and stuff, I'm making sure it's, sprouted grains and stuff like that. I'm trying not to buy enriched. Now I do have a donut here and there and a bagel here and there and cookies here and there, but it's not a bulk of my diet by any means. But eat fresh ground whole flour enriched. Exactly. And I'm glad you mentioned the cereal. I'll get to that in a moment. Let me just catch up with the chat. Yep. You eat the aloe, you could make treatments for skin, for your hair. You can make even an aloe drink. It's good for your insides if you're having any kind of issues. Aloe has a lot of uses. It's not appealing. It doesn't taste good. I'm not concerned about that. I can eat things that taste horrible just with the knowledge of what it's good for. Some of us are like, no, if it doesn't taste good, I don't want it. I will eat it. Miss Shirley reuses her bottles, which are reuse those bottles. Right now, I'm going to be drying a lot of herbs and storing them in glass jars. Certain things, it's better to store them in a tinted jar to help prevent the light from, degrading them. Keep these jars. Uh, Also, there's a documentary on vitamin B and D deficiency causing sleep apnea. Thank you. I found something about that. As I'm saying, when you keep researching and keep digging and keep not taking no for an answer, you'll find it. And I've been taking vitamin B on and off, a vitamin B complex. I know they mention like B this, B1, like certain Bs, but I take a overall complex because I can't determine which one is low and high, and my body can make the adjustments. Vitamin D, I'm pretty much taking a lot of vitamin D, and Black people need to take more than others because of the melanin. We don't synthesize the D the same way, so we need more vitamin D than most people, and most of us are deficient. But you'll go to the doctor, they'll tell you, "Oh, you're fine, you're fine." But if your doctor doesn't understand the differences with Black people or so-called Black people and melanated people, and how to treat us and our health, because it's a bit different, you're not getting the answers that you need. So I started looking at myself and changed how much I'm taking. So my vitamin D should be okay-ish, but my B is not, and that affects your sleep apnea. So apnea is not about weight, it's about the mind, how the mind creates paralysis for sleep and slows breathing, and it can be out of whack when metabolism is off. That's what I'm thank you. All they ever say is lose weight, lose weight. Being fat can't be the source of all the problems in the world. Like and the doctors look at me like I'm like, really? The first thing I need to do is lose weight? Like I'm not even that I said I'm not even that fat. I'm not even that fat. And my age is not even that high. So why are you even mentioning that? Watermelon juice, fresh watermelon juice with ginger and lime. So sometimes you gotta push back. I'm not saying be disrespectful, but you gotta push back because lose weight. And I'm sitting there looking at him. How can I lose weight in my neck? Even if I lose weight all over, my neck is not holding the fat on my body. The fat's all over else. Maybe my chin, maybe my cheeks, but my neck is not going to have that much difference. You can't tell me that there's all this fat on my neck. He just kind of smirked, like, really? Like, anyways, let me catch up with the chat. Same thing happened to me when I moved. I worked on stocking back up. Exactly. You guys have the knowledge and the experience, so you'll be good. You can get vitamin D naturally from the sun. True, but you have to have a lot of skin exposure. You can't go out and fully clothed and get vitamin D. You have to be in a bikini, or you have to have your skin exposed. And that's what people don't seem to talk about. Oh, I'm in the sun, I get vitamin D. Your face is in the sun, maybe your forearm, maybe your toes. I don't see people, there's some people that I watch that literally, live in Hawaii or wherever, and they go to the nudist beach and they just, spread out naked. But that's how you truly get vitamin D. You're supposed to be exposed to the sun. We don't really do that. So more likely than not, you're going to have to find sources. And I take the synthetics pills, which is not the best, but the best thing that I found to date, again, this is not medical advice, I'm just talking. Do your own research and talk to your own doctor. And if something goes wrong with you, take responsibility for yourself and don't call out my name and say me tell you anything. I didn't tell you nothing. Do your own research. This is the disclaimer and the waiver. Do your own research and talk to your own doctor. Thank you. You need to take probably some mushrooms. They're saying that there's a lot of vitamin D in mushrooms, and they become very popular in the last few years. People are using it to make steaks, and they're using it to make, powders for smoothies. There's all kind of ways to incorporate mushrooms into your diet. I don't I'm not telling no one to go mushroom hunting and go find no mushrooms in the wilderness and not have any training in foraging and then come and blame somebody else for your problems. Blame yourself for your problems and your dumb decisions, okay? Don't call out my name. Again, there's mushrooms that you can buy. There's mushroom supplements, there's mushroom capsules, there's mushroom all kind of stuff. Mushroom coffee. There's all kind of products out there that you can use that can incorporate some mushrooms into your diet. But do some more research and find and vitamin D is not a vitamin. I keep saying vitamin and we say vitamin because that's what it's called. It's not a vitamin, it's a hormone that's created in your body. It's not a vitamin. So do some more research. David and Bougie are laughing. People want to blame everybody. Well, she told me, she said. So what? Your doctor tells you all kind of lies and you believe them. I don't see you suing the doctor. So do your research. But you need to top, and if you're melanated and you're my complexion and even darker, you need to take a lot more vitamin D, hormone D, because you need it because of the way our body synthesizes it. You need to take a lot more. There's a number that was floating around, um, and you have to take vitamin D with K2. That's some new information that came out in the last 6 months or so. I know Dr. Berg. I watched Dr. Berg. If you watch him, he did a video, and somebody else. And they talked about they were promoting vitamin D during the pandemic. Of course, it's good for your immune system, yes, but they realized you need to take vitamin K2 because vitamin D can negatively impact the way you process calcium and all kind of other problems. Good morning, Netta. And you got to be careful. That's why most people who are naturopaths, they don't really like vitamins per se because it's just one vitamin. They want you to change your diet and have it from food sources because when you start taking one thing and one thing, there's no balance. Then you have too much of this and too much of that. You have to get it from your food and your body will take what it needs. Unless you have a real um imbalance in a certain vitamin or mineral, then you have to take a lot of supplementation. But, you know, try to make sure you eat a healthy, broad spectrum diet to get most of what you need from your food. I bought mushroom once and woke up a week later howling at my reflection in the pool. I don't know what kind of mushroom that must have been those psychedelic mushrooms. That's what I said. Do your research. I didn't tell you to buy no psychedelic mushrooms and make some kind of tincture from some mushroom, in the woods. No one told you that. Um, that's a somewhat natural hold on, did I miss something? So vitamin D. I don't like to go like the God complex some doctors have. Okay. My body ain't built for the nudist beach. Yep, get naked in the sun. That's how you absorb vitamin D. They tell you to go get sun, get sun, get sun, but if you're fully clothed, what are you getting? You're not getting much. So if you can't go out naked, because we live in suburban area and people have cell phone now and they'll record you, not even them watching you, them recording you. So, some of you ladies, even your mature ladies, put on some short shorts, you know, and put on tank top or thin sleeve spaghetti top, and try to have your arms and your neck and your head and your face, your legs and more exposed, and get some more sun. Yeah, some doctors will say anything as long as you have insurance, and that goes for dentists as well. Because I be having some issues with them. Um, but yeah, you have to. So if you have a nudist colony near you, maybe you should go become a member, and go visit. Get your little fig leaf ready. Your fig leaf. If you want to cover certain spots, and go get some sun. Ain't no profit in a cure. Exactly. So you have to do your own research, but get your minerals, your supplementation. Um, the tank top. Exactly. Wear some skimpy shorts in the garden when you're gardening, you're out there weeding, you're out there for at least an hour. You need to get more sun. Now, obviously, if you're in an area that has a lot of snakes and stuff, I'm not telling you to go walk out with barefoot and try to be barefoot to ground and get that connection with the earth. But if you're in an area that has snakes and it's dangerous, like use your common sense. Like, you know, use safety. If you have a lot of mosquitoes and things that bite, maybe that's not, maybe you got to go in front of a window and just, I don't know, but find something. Don't know what to tell you, but use good old common sense. But going out barefoot, grounding, getting that, magnetic electric charge from the earth. Not the Mrs. Parker gardening, what you got to do. You got to get more fresh air and exercise. Um, and the type of fabrics that you wear can also affect. Try to wear more natural. Most of the clothes we buy aren't natural, to be honest. I think this is maybe a linen I'm wearing today, but trying to get more natural fibers. So when I'm in the garden, I'm not wearing all this polyester and all this stuff. That also has a negative impact, all the dyes in the clothing. But back to somebody mentioned Perfection Bacon mentioned something I was going to talk about. Sorry, I'm just reading to remember what I was going to say. So the vitamin B, the vitamin D. So I did some research. I am going to be getting a machine. I'm covered, so I'll get that and see if it helps because I don't want to risk um sleep apnea. As you guys know, you stop breathing or you paralysis. And it got my throat, sorry. If you live alone, you don't want to be stopping breathing during the night. It's not really a good thing. And if I've had elevated blood pressure for over a year and 2, maybe 3 years now, and I had to figure out the root cause myself, you don't want to mess with your cardiovascular system. That's not a joke either. So the goal is to get the machine so that I can resolve the high blood pressure. If I see a significant improvement, the next move is, doctor, I want to come off this medication. And then once that's stabilized, I'm still doing research to find a way to exactly get the metabolism right and not have to use the machine. Now, if I need to use a machine here and there, that's fine. And that to me is less invasive than taking medication that's actually causing me health issues and causing other problems and preventing your body from doing what it needs to do. And that's what I'm doing. You don't have to do what I'm doing. That's my plan. So I'll use the machine while I'm still researching and finding ways to get um my body functioning properly. And vitamin B has been mentioned, and somebody mentioned in one of the videos that taking more nutritional yeast is very high in B vitamins, like the highest there is. A couple of sprinkles on a salad makes a huge difference. So that I have some already. I was using it when I was doing like the raw vegan challenges and doing plant-based challenges, but I didn't really incorporate it in a lot of my food. So I have now made sure that I'm using nutritional yeast like on salads, on pasta, like how you sprinkle cheese. I'm putting some of that on there as well to get that B vitamin. And it's so easy to do. So there's no reason why I need to take pills and supplements if I'm taking that in my food. So that's what I've been doing. Cereal. That's it. Okay, I saw that what I'm going to talk about now. Now, I mentioned enriched flour. Not good for us. It for some of us it helps. It helps. It puts on weight, and helps us to keep the weight on that we don't want to keep on. It's not good for some of us. Some of y'all can eat whatever you want and you don't put on a pound. You just have a fast metabolism. You can stay at the same weight. The rest of us have a hard time losing the weight. We put it on very easily and we can't get it off. So for me, that's a problem. So I'm made a point now to look at the ingredients of what I'm buying. And I looked at all the pasta at one point last week. I went to the store, I looked through the pastas, and I found several brands that are just straight pasta. There's no enrichment in it. There's no other additives into it, like the vitamins and once you see niacin, riboflavin, and all those 3 or 4 names, it's enriched. So I found a couple of brands, and they're not expensive. Even one of the no-name brands that's actually called No Name is not enriched, and the origin of the pasta, I think, was from Turkey or Europe. I know the Italians don't really enrich the pasta either. So certain countries don't have that as part of their process. So that kind of helps you. So that's been changed. Cereal. I didn't grow up eating no sweet cereal. I grew up with like, the the flaked corn, the crisped rice, stuff like that. Bran with raisins and that kind of cereal. And for the most part, you think it's healthy. I don't add sugar to it or nothing. But when you start to read the ingredients, I knew there was sugar in that. Like I knew that a couple of years ago that there's sugar in like those plain Jane cereals. But when you look at it again, it's like, okay, it's enriched, it's sweetened. The second ingredient is sugar and all kind of other ingredients. I said, okay, I'm going to change my cereal. So I bought literally, it's called puffed rice. It's I have a few options over here because other cultures use that as part of their diet. So when you have other food from other countries, you can get other options. And it's literally just puffed rice. And when I ate it, it's just puffed rice. And then you realize how much sugar they put in what you think is a plain Jane cereal because it literally has no taste. It tastes like cardboard. It tastes like um styrofoam. If I ever tasted it, it tastes like that. No taste. Then you realize how much sugar is in these plain Jane cereals and how much sugar is in actual milk. If you watch JB Oliver, he did a documentary a while ago. Let me clear my throat one second. Give me a moment because I'm getting all. Okay, that's clear. And they sweeten the milk. So you wonder why children are so hooked, and even us, we're hooked on certain things. And we think it's not sweetened, but it is. The milk is sweetened already, and those puffs and the flaked corn and all that stuff, it's already heavily sweetened. And that you think is your base point because you think it's unsweetened, and anything that tastes lower than that is garbage. No, that's still garbage. It's heavily sweetened. Because when you have the plain one, the really plain one, I'm like, oh my God. So I have to get used to that taste. A lot of sugar I've been eating in food sources that I wasn't really taking into account. Never mind when you want to have a cookie and you want to have a this and a that. So I had to make some other adjustments with the cereal and take more of a serious look at the ingredients. So I've made a couple of changes with the cereal. It's not horrible, but you do have to get used to it. It's an acquired taste. If you have children who are not really used to anything per se, try to train them up with the ones that have no sugar. Don't get them hooked on all these sugary stuff because it's an addiction that's hard to shake. It's a hard addiction to shake. No joke. Sugar ain't no joke. I'm just gonna catch up with the chat, make sure I didn't miss anything. Yeah, healthcare is sick care. Definitely agree. Um, dyes and heavy metals in clothing. Yes, a lot of the products that we use is highly So I'm doing more cleaning of house and what I'm using and why I'm using it. What I already have, I'm gonna finish using it, but going forward, I'm making some change. Wheat noodles, I use wheat noodles now. I made some changes. But take when you go shopping and you have a moment and you have time, I'm not saying go through the entire store, but maybe one day go through the pasta aisle, go through the soup aisle, and just take a look at what you usually buy and what's in it. And figure out what else you can buy. Oh my god, I think I'm having an allergy attack. What you can buy as a better option. And do that now while you're not stressed out, while you're not, and figure out what brands are better for you. And then make the switch. And if it's a little bit more cost per unit, I think it's worth it in the long run because sugar and salt is going to kill you. So please be mindful and you can find things on sale, find things for coupons, whatever you got to do, but don't keep buying the same thing. These hidden ingredients are causing a lot of problems and a lot of inflammation. You be wondering why your knees, your elbows, my elbows have been hurting for weeks. I finally have some relief inflammation wise, but also my posture or like the way I'm lifting and stuff, my form wasn't exactly the best and I was putting too much strain. So I'm making some corrections, but you need to be mindful because all this pain that you're having, some of it is inflammation. Most of it is somehow inflammatory and it's linked to the food. And you think you're making good decisions and, oh, I don't have it that often. But you'd be surprised how many years of buildup you have in your system. And unless you're going to make some drastic changes, you're not going to see a lot of improvement. It took years to get to this unhealthy state. You're going to have to take some serious decisions to make an impact that you're going to actually see rather quickly. Um, but change what you're buying and learn to cook it in a way that's very tasty and flavorful. You don't have to compromise taste and flavor for good morning, Shanna, for healthier food. But there is a curve of getting your taste buds used to these new things. Sugar is telling you. My dad used to never have sugar in his tea. He still doesn't. Maybe in a coffee here and there, but he's been drinking black tea from before. And that's the best thing to do. Don't get used to the sugar. And if you do have to have a sugar, have one and that's it. Don't have 5 and 6 cups of coffee a day and each cup is having all this sugar in it. Don't be having all these coffee creamers which are full of fake stuff and sugar. You have to you're going to have to make some significant changes in what you're doing because the doctors and the healthcare system don't care about you and they're not helping you. The sodium in these soups, yep, exactly. I think at some point I'm seeing 27% is the minimum in most of the products that I'm purchasing. And I mentioned a couple of months now, I bought a product to buy for my quote unquote preps, this pasta thing, and I made it. And it nearly killed me. It was the most disgusting thing I've tasted. It was so salty that it wasn't even like an enjoyment. It was disgusting. I had to soak off the salt off of it and this and that to try to make it tasty. It I ended up soaking it out and then giving it to the chickens and they ate it. But I would never feed my chicken salty food like that. So that's not going to be in my preps. Needless to say, there's too much sodium, and these companies are compensating quality ingredients for salt and sugar, and they can it up, and there you go. It's on the shelf for years. They get to make money from you, but they haven't put any quality ingredients in the food. That's why it became apparent to me I need to start canning and make my own canned soup, make my own canned chilies, and make my own stuff that I can control what's in it. And many of you are canning, have been canning. You watch a lot of the people who can when they have their lives in the fall and winter when they're actually going through and canning their stuff. I have found some brands that have either low sodium or no sodium, but sometimes they're hard to find. Some stores maybe don't carry them in bulk supply. Just check out what's available, but you're better off buying the no sodium because we have to really change our way of thinking. There's nothing wrong with opening a can of soup and then adding your flavoring to it and your salt, and because you're reheating it anyways. Why do you have to have it already salted? It's better to let the consumer control how much salt is in the food. And we've been so brainwashed into thinking that they're doing the best. Someone said to me yesterday, "Well, shouldn't the government be protecting us from that?" And I looked at them. I said, "The government?" I said, "The same government who didn't tell the people in Walkerton in Ontario that the water had E. coli in it and people died. The same government that," and I'm listing off about 4 and 5 things that I listed off America. I said, "The same government," and then they look at what the same. I said, "When the government deems something as safe and edible and good for the population, it doesn't mean that it's all the way true. You have to think for yourself and make decisions for yourself. And just because something is deemed safe does not mean it doesn't have side effects. And the government isn't saying, guaranteeing you there's no side effects. They're telling you that it's safe for use. What does that really mean? That's the point. You're assuming it means safe, no side effects, no repercussions, no nothing. They didn't say all that. You're adding that to the conversation. All they said was that it's safe for use. And I'm like, so when I listed off the 5 things and like, the same government that said this, the same government that said that, the same government that really, the same government that has not made things right for the first day, and I'm listing off, really? And they said, so don't call it no government over here. You need to do what's safe and best for you. Caffeine is running a hard second to be addicted. And there's a lot of caffeine and a lot of products that you don't even realize. And things that are good for you, like chocolate is good for you, but the chocolate bars that you buy are full of all kind of nonsense. Natural honey is a great substitute. I think it is. Some people who are vegan and plant-based don't agree, but I think it's. I have honey. Someone calls it bee vomit. Some people say things to make you feel disgusted, but it doesn't bother me. If that's what bee vomit tastes like, then sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up for it because it tastes good. Sign me up. How can you eat easily? People eat all kind of crap. They eat escargot, they eat eyeballs, they eat people, they eat all kind of stuff. I have no problem with honey, especially honey helps you with allergies and helps people with immune issues. It's very helpful. I'm not gonna scorn anything. I have coffee here and there, but not as often. Let me see here. I'm just catching up with the chat. Hold on, just give me a second to Bayou Sugar sharing. She's an emotional eater, so I found that eating several small meals throughout the day helps instead of eating 3 large meals and large snacks in between. Do what's best for you. I know the 3 meals a day thing is a construct. It's not necessary. I don't eat 3 meals. The last month, I eat I would say I eat 1 meal a day, actual meal. The rest of what I'm eating is not a meal. I wake up in the morning, I have the hot drink, tea, or sometimes I have coffee. I have incorporated back into my diet chocolate tea. Those of you who are from the Caribbean, I don't know if Americans have it. I'm not sure. I haven't heard anybody mention it, but in the Caribbean, we have chocolate tea, and it's not like the usual hot chocolate with all the milks and the trimmings and the marshmallows and all that other stuff. It's just, the chocolate, you boil it, you put some nutmeg, some cinnamon, you put some, sometimes a pinch of salt, sea salt. You put, I use plant-based milk, or coconut milk, and it has some, and I think even, I heard Lash just mentioning it recently because she went back to Jamaica, and I've been back on chocolate tea, and it's very good for you. There's a lot of health benefits. Not hot chocolate, the mix is, but, the chocolate tea or cocoa tea, very good for you. But yeah, sometimes I found that I was eating and I wasn't hungry. I was just eating to eat. Hey, Sam. I was bored, but I break my fast in the daytime, in the morning, with fruit. So watermelon, I've been eating a lot of mangoes lately. Funny enough, the mango slayer, but mangoes are very good for you. Um, golden kiwis, bananas. I've been eating a lot of grapes because they've been on sale. So I've been buying grapes galore, apples. I make my carrot juice and all my other stuff. I've been doing a lot of that, and that's very filling. I may have an egg sandwich here and there, but for the most part, I have one main meal, maybe a smaller meal, and the rest of what I'm eating, I guess you can call them snacks and you can call them whatever, is healthy fruits and stuff, hummus and veggies and as a dip, um, stuff like that. You'd be surprised how filling other things are when you use real ingredients. You don't need to be, you know, snacking on these empty calories and then you can't control yourself. And then you keep eating because you're hungry, but you're actually also malnourished because you're not getting what you need. If you're giving your body what it needs, it won't be so much snacking, I found for me. But you don't need 3 meals. You don't. One meal, 2 meals. If you're very active, then maybe you do need 3 meals. But I'm not active enough to justify 3 meals. I've been hearing lately that people are complaining about cans having mostly liquid and less food in them. That too. That too. It is entirely too hot to drink coffee right now. I've been drinking cold herbal tea and honey and eating a lot of cold watermelon. I do have a hot drink. Again, I'm Caribbean. I don't drink coffee throughout the day or tea throughout the day, but first thing in the morning, I try to have my hot drink. If I don't have it by a certain time, then you're right, it's too hot. But when you have that hot drink in the morning, it helps clean anything in your esophagus and your digestive tract that needs to be killed with some heat. It helps, especially when you're drinking orange pico, green tea. It has also some nutrients in it. So I wouldn't knock, like, I know you're hot, but early in the morning, I try to have my hot drink in the morning, and that's it. If it's daytime, you see me with water or juice. I don't have, but I drink a hot drink at least once a day. I try to. Boredom. Yeah, you're eating because you're bored. You're eating because you go to the fridge. So that's why I wash a whole bunch of grapes, cherries, have them in the fridge. If I'm bored, I'm nibbling on fruit. Still grossed out by the creepy dudes in the dollar store. Oh, I know, it's disgusting. Sam, it's disgusting. Fruits, nuts, yeah, sunflower seeds, walnuts, pecan, like all that kind of stuff. If you just change what you're giving your body, it won't be you won't be as tempted and you'll feel full. I do have chips. Sometimes you buy the popcorn, the skinny pop, the smart, whatever, the ones that has less junk on it. Um, I like some crackers sometime, a good old cracker, buy the whole grain ones. And that's pretty much it. That's what I've been doing. But I have not been having 3 meals a day. I think the 3 meals was holding me hostage and the weight wasn't coming off. Because you think you have to have 3 meals a day. You have to have this, you have to have that, all your nutrients, all. I couldn't get it all in. I couldn't get it all in. So now that I'm eating fruits, vegetables, cutting up fruit, drinking my fruit, um, having, nuts and seeds, a lot of berries. I have, the raspberries in the garden, the strawberries are coming in. I'm buying them from the store. It's better in the long run. I find my digestion is better. I'm not having the joint pain. I'm not depriving myself. Don't deprive yourself. That's not going to help you. Um, I'm not rewarding myself with food. Like, oh, if I do this, then I'm going to have a piece of cake. Like, no, you're not rewarding yourself with food either. You're not punishing yourself with food. If you ate too much, you're like, okay, I'll learn for tomorrow, and you do better tomorrow. I went out yesterday, and I didn't carry my water when I was walking up and down Niagara Falls. Big mistake. Did not think I would be that dehydrated because I was drinking water all the way, there. My backpack, part of sidebar, still prepping, but the backpack that I had was not a functional backpack. It was like a leather backpack that I got as a gift from my sister when she went to Bolivia, but it wasn't a functional like backpack with the proper weight distribution, the right straps to give you, the proper, balance, and then the waist band to kind of help you hold the weight properly. It wasn't the right backpack for that. I will never be using that backpack for like quote unquote hiking or walking ever again. It's not made for that. That's more like, running errands, or you got to carry something, you have a car, but it's not made for walking up and down. That made it very difficult, and then I didn't end up carrying the water because it was just too much stuff. If I had a proper backpack with the proper straps and the proper, and I have one somewhere. Ask me where it is, I don't even know. It could be in the garage. The Mountain Equipment Co-op. I don't know if you guys know that brand. It's like a camping brand, and it's proper for camping. That's the backpack I should have had, and I wouldn't have had so much struggle walking up and down, number 1. Number 2, I wore brand new sneakers. Those sneakers were hurting my big toe. They weren't too small, they weren't tight, but they were not made for walking like I was doing yesterday. Hours of walking was not made for walking. So that made it more uncomfortable. And then not having the water, Lord of mercy. Anyways, good morning, Shar. Thank you. I did not buy junk food. I was seeing ice cream cones and all these things people were eating. And I was like, I want to buy one. I bought a smoothie and I left. The prices were ridiculous, first of all. But I'm going to be getting a smaller backpack for hiking. I want to be hiking more this summer. I realized that was good for mental health, just getting fresh air, exercise, seeing and being amongst nature, taking pictures and video clips and just looking around. I'm going to be doing that more often, but you have to have the right equipment. And it's part of prepping as well. Don't be coming with no fashionable backpack and fashionable sneakers. Oh my God. You're not going to last. It's just too difficult. So don't do that. Get the right equipment. I know Erica, my fly family, was talking about a bug out bag. This is part of the bug out bag. Get a proper backpack. What is this? Get a proper backpack. It's worth every penny. When you have to get and start walking, having a backpack that's not functional, guys, is going to be a hindrance. It's going to be a big hindrance. So don't do it. Practice your preps. Get the right sneakers. So when I had New Balance sneakers, I didn't have any problem with walking. So I'm going to find another pair of I think it's Asics or New Balance that are more for walking. I need a pair of those because I was struggling. I took a break, sat in the shade, enjoyed the breeze. Then I had to walk back. And I walked back past the meeting point and went a little further because there's traffic. Then I got a ride and then had water, had fruit, and then we drove back. And I bought dinner. We ended up going to Whole Foods. We were going to eat, and then everywhere that was already closing, I ended up going to the feed store to buy some chicken feed. They let me go to the feed store, and I bought 2 bags. We went to Whole Foods, bought dinner. I didn't even eat it. And I was hungry. I could have eaten. But the fruit was enough, the nuts, the seeds, the berries. Just getting hydrated was better because sometimes you're really thirsty. You're not really hungry. You're thirsty. So, you know, we can all share tips, but yeah, that helped me. Good morning, Planter. Um, Hold on. First thing with hiking is boots, shoes. When the feet are, I'm telling you, I was done. I was like, I wasn't done, but I'm like, Lord, this is gonna be rough. It's gonna be a hard day. I thought, but the thing I realize is I'm in okay shape. I'm not doing a marathon, but I'm in okay shape to walk. Like I could walk. I did take a long break and just enjoy, but I could have kept walking. I could have walked back. I would have been tired, but had I had on better shoes, I could have I could have kept going. And what I think I am going to do is they have those mini chairs that you can it's almost like a stool, not even a chair, that is very light. You can travel with if you need to just park and sit down somewhere, you can sit down. Little things that you need just to kind of make your hike easier, but definitely I'm going to get some shoes and I'm going to go walking more often, like in nature, hiking. It was hearing the birds and it was so nice. I miss that. I didn't realize I'm like, oh, I need to start doing this more often. So I'm going to go to Bronte Creek this month. I'm going to another park this month. And then in August, I have something in August. I can't remember what, but we're going to go on a hiking trail and hike. But guys, get the right shoes. Don't joke around. You're going to cause yourself more problems, and you actually might even hurt yourself, because if the shoe is cutting into your pinky toe, hurting your big toe, it hurting your Achilles because of the way it's shaped, you're going to actually cause yourself damage. Walking on a cloud has excellent. Okay, I'll check. Girl, I wore, yeah. The shoes were comfortable, but for a walk, like to go run errands, but for a long, like 2-hour walk, that wasn't the right shoes. Trekking poles or just some tree branches can help as well. I did see quite a few people with the poles walking up and down, and some people had a bike. I was wondering if I should get a scooter or an e-bike and carry that with me, but they're like, nah, if we have to drive here, it's too much space in the car and it's just too much extra things to carry. So they weren't a fan of that, but you can get a folding e-bike that might work. And I told them we can get a mount for the car, a bike rack on the back, so that's not in the car. So that might be an option. And you can just, like, if you're tired, ride all the way back. But trekking pole, yeah, I'm gonna get better shoes. But back to the prep in terms of what's happening with the hurricane. So in Jamaica, my family, they're pretty much off grid. They have to collect rainwater. There is no city water. So I don't know what's going on with the water right now since the hurricane. We heard from one person, we haven't heard from the other people. Some people still don't have power, so they can't charge their phone. A few people don't have cell service. That's happening in America as well. So I'm not sure what's going on and what's in play, but you need to have water. You need to have water filtration. You need to have things to clean your water, because if you don't have good water, you're going to cause yourself more problems. So make sure you're practicing your preps. I'm winding it down, so I'm going to, you know, end it off in 5 minutes. I don't know if Nightbot's still working. I don't even know. You can try it. #urban to drop your link. Make sure you've liked the video if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you're getting stuff now while it's on sale, stocking up. But when you're stocking up, don't buy things that are going to make you unhealthy. Watch the sodium intake, watch the sugar intake, watch the enriched flours and enriched products, because if you're buying just things that are quote unquote things to prep and have for a hard time, I've tasted some of the products that are available, and if you're eating that for a good amount of days or weeks, you're going to have negative side effects. So please start to take more thought into what you're buying and buy better products. Make sure you have bottled water, jugs to collect water. If you have to go somewhere and collect water, or somebody else has water at their house, you need to put the water in something. Make sure you have way to feed and water your animals, your pets. You have to take care of your plants, disinfectant, hygiene. Right now, we're talking again about rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, even liquor is good for certain sanitation things. Your bleach tablets, your bleach, your maybe even vinegar for certain things to wash your produce and stuff. I have a lot of I buy baking soda by the 25 kilograms at the feed store now. I don't buy the small boxes anymore. Make sure you have certain things in place. Don't wait for people to tell you what to prep. The government's not going to help you. They're not coming to save you. Have your solar power. Start to invest in solar power backups. Invest in the lights that when the power goes off, they turn into flashlights. Bougie had mentioned that, and I got a couple in my house. And these are some simple ways to make your life easier. I bought the ones, it turns into a flashlight. So right away, it'll turn on. If it turns on, then you know there's been a power outage. Don't wait until something, they're not expensive. Some of you guys have Five Below stores and Ollie's. There's a store called Menards. I think it's Menards. I see you guys talking about a lot of knickknacks over there. Somebody here told me about a store that sells Amazon unsold products, and every day that the product is there, it goes down. So it starts at like $5, and then 4, then 3, and then 2, and what. So I'm gonna go check that out today and see what's there. Anything to help with prepping, lighting, battery bank, cell phone battery banks, um, radios to kind of hear what's going on, like hand crank radios, having a backpack, having proper shoes to walk in. You have to walk a distance to go get stuff because you can't use your car. Just think about it. Medications, medical equipment, cooling and heating of their house when it's really hot or really cold, and find ways, because right now in Houston, as we said again, they're having a problem. Houston, we have a problem. How can you make your life easier if that happened to you in your city right now? Just think of those simple ways and try to make your dollar stretch. But practice your preps. Blessings to all. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'll see you next week. And while we go out, I'll play the new theme song for those who missed it in the beginning. Well, let me find the screen share. The new theme song we're going to play as we go out. And God willing, I'll see you next week.
Creating invoices, Rick, especially with Jobber. Start with the layout.